Welcome to Summer Hour Vegas podcast. I'm your host, Renee Summer Hour. We have another powerful woman during election season running in 2024, and I'm so excited to introduce you all to her. Ray Canady is a bipartisan candidate running for Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge, Department 5. She was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the youngest of four girls, and her parents met in the 1960s, an interracial couple that married the same year the U.S. Supreme Court decided Loving versus Virginia. She earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan in 96, a graduate degree in 98, and a law degree from Marquette University Law School in 2004. Her career experience includes working as an attorney, and she is affiliated with local groups here, such as the Human Rights Campaign, the NAACP, League of Women's Voters Nevada, and the ACLU. Let's give a warm round of applause to Ray Canady. What's going on, girl?
Hello. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yay. Good. Because I'm just as excited.
And when I heard that you were from Milwaukee, and I've told my story about my aunts and my grandmothers all growing up there, it just made me even more excited because I feel like I know you a little bit.
I know. There is a Midwest connection. There's a ton of Midwest folks here in Vegas, which makes me feel like I'm still at home in a lot of ways. But yeah, I love that we have that connection.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. Especially here in Nevada and all across the country, Black folks, I think that we have kind of a stigma when it comes to voting and getting involved. And that's why I've worked in local news for so long, because I feel like any changes that we want made that we feel like we really haven't seen, we have to start on the local level, right? We have to start where we live. So let's first tell us why you're running, and then tell everybody why it's so important to vote for judges.
I am running because I actually used to work at Municipal Court as an administrator, and I was not happy with the policies that the judges were creating for our community. I didn't think they were helpful. Pretty much every policy that I advanced that I thought would be helpful, they shot down. So I said, okay, if they're the gatekeepers of change and I want to be a positive agent of change, I have to run. So I decided to run 3 years ago, and here I am. Voting in local elections is so important because everything that local politicians, the decisions that they make, affect us on a day-to-day basis so much more than the federal level positions. Who our president is important. Who's in Congress is important. But if you're going to be affected by a policy, a law, or a rule, it's going to be one that's made by a local politician. So voting is so important. Our young folks, I know, are feeling disconnected from the political process. They feel like their vote doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It doesn't change anything. But if there's ever an opportunity to make a change and have your voice heard, it's definitely by voting in local elections.
Especially because of what we see in the courtrooms every day and this unfair judicial system that we see on a daily basis when it comes to certain cases and certain people. I think that it's important to see people like us in those positions, right?
Absolutely. It's so important. When people walk into a courthouse or any public institution, they should see people who look like them. It should be a reflection of our community. And when it's not, there's some inherent distrust with that. And so I do think it's important. I don't think in 2024 we should still have these firsts. But if I'm elected, I would be the first Black judge to serve on that court. And representation and diversity matter.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, which so many people don't, what does a Las Vegas Municipal Court judge do? Like, what is Department 5? Break that down for us.
Sure. So Department 5 isn't anything particularly special. It's just that there are 6 judges that are appointed or elected to the Las Vegas Municipal Court. And so they just break them up you can break them up by departments or numbers or letters, like some of the district court judges. So when cases come in, they're randomly assigned to any one of the 6 departments. The only thing that distinguishes a department from another is that each of the judges do run a specialty court, what we call an alternative sentencing court. And so the Department 5 court right now is the youthful offender court. That's not set in stone, but that's at least what it is right now. And then each of the other departments have a different type of specialty court.
Okay. And so can you explain just again what you would be specializing in if you were voted as a municipal judge here in Las Vegas?
Sure. So as the cases come in, and the cases that come to Las Vegas Municipal Court are municipal code violations, so that essentially a ticket, traffic matters, and then criminal misdemeanors, all of those things that occur within the city of Las Vegas proper, which is a little confusing because you can have a Las Vegas address and not live in the city of Las Vegas proper. But as those cases come in, they're randomly assigned. And then for Department 5 specifically, they have a specialty court called the Youthful Offender Court. Right now, it's for people who are 18 to 24. It is intended to be, all specialty courts are intended to be courts for high risk, high needs people so that they don't continue to cycle through the system.
Okay.
If I'm elected, I would actually raise the age of that court because I understand brain development. I would probably take it from 18, maybe even up to 29. We now know more recent studies in particular. Sorry, men, you guys, your brains develop even later than women.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to definitely would expand that, and then make sure that it's true to high risk, high needs. In the past, some of the judges have sort of cherry-picked individuals to participate. What has happened is we've seen that people of color don't get those opportunities. And so when you use a research-based tool to determine who has the highest risk and highest needs, it is colorblind in the sense that you will get an array of folks who will be able to come into the program and get the resources and support they need.
That's amazing. Okay, because I didn't even know that. I didn't know exactly when you hear this judge and this department and family court and criminal court and
It's
stuff.
so
it can get really
confusing.
confusing, and I think a lot of people don't know who they're voting for, let alone what that means when they vote them in. So I think that's a really great explanation. And so again, like I was saying, with not knowing, what are some of the common misconceptions about judges? Like when people don't vote for judges, what can happen?
So one of the common misconceptions is, I'm never going to go in front of a judge. Like, why do I need to care about who's elected? And to that I say, first, if you don't care for yourself, if you're so sure you'll never be in front of a judge, although that will be my second point, care for your friends, care for your family, care for the community, care for your students, your clients. Somebody within your circle of influence is going to end up in front of a judge. And oftentimes people walk away saying, oh my God, who voted that person in? And we did. The community did, either by your action, by voting, or by your inaction, by allowing other people to vote and you not taking advantage of the opportunity to have your voice heard. And the second thing I say to that is, you likely will be in front of a judge at some point because of the fact that Las Vegas Municipal Court handles traffic matters. At some point, you may be speeding. You may forget that to register your car. You may forget to renew your license. These are things that everyday people do because life happens. And so if you are pulled over under those circumstances, you will find yourself in front of a judge. And it's important who it is that you go before.
And we all know Vegas has some crazy drivers.
Right.
So
I mean, let's say you get in an accident.
More than 80% of us will probably be in front of a
We
judge
have a
at
very
some point.
high accident rate here, right? So maybe you're driving great. You're going along doing your business and you get into an accident and the police show up and you say, oh my goodness, I didn't realize my driver's license expired last week.
I didn't forget. I forgot my registration at home or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point because I think we've all low-key have made a little mistake on the road like that if it wasn't speeding or forgetting some documents. So just make sure you have all your stuff so you don't have to see Ray in the courtroom, okay?
Yes, please.
So, with everything that's going on this election season and just, the drama and the circumstance of everything going on, I always like to look at all of the public servants wherever I live as people. You guys are people first, right? You're a woman first, you're Black first, you're all these things first. So outside of sitting in the courtroom, what does Ray like to do to wind down? When Ray needs time away from work, what music are you listening to? What activities are you doing here in Vegas? Like, how do you have fun?
So I will say first, since I'm on the campaign trail, there is no such thing as downtime, right? I am counting down the days. I think there's 11 days to the primary. I am exhausted. But when I'm not campaigning, when I walked in here, I had on a T-shirt. I changed into this shirt. The shirt said, I am hip hop.
Yes.
I love hip hop. I love to listen to hip hop. I like to gamble. I like to go to the Strip.
Really?
I feel like we have two different cities in one. Listen, I am such a fan of the city of Las Vegas. I call it my soul city. I have the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign tattooed on my back.
Okay.
I am one of the biggest fans of this city.
Y'all.
I'm telling you, this is where I should have been born and raised because I think it's the greatest city on earth. And so I like to go to the Strip because there's a great energy there. You meet different people. I love the fact that we have an influx of folks. So really, if you just go people watch. And then I love to travel. Mexico, going down to Mexico is one of my favorites. Puerto Vallarta is one of my favorite cities. So those are the kinds of things I like to do when I'm not campaigning and I have a little time on my hands.
She's right up my alley, y'all. We might have to hang out or something.
I mean, I would love that.
Yes. And like you said, that Wisconsin connection, if you didn't watch my first episode, I talk about the name of this podcast called Summer Hour. Vegas, and the term came from the neighbors that my aunt and my mom grew up around.
Oh, wow.
When they would see them playing, they would say, "Oh, those are the Summer Hour Girls," or "You want to go play with the Summer Hour Girls?"
So cute.
So that's how the concept of this podcast came to be. So when I was reading about you and it said you were from Milwaukee, it just kind of warmed my heart, because I was like, man, even though I never have been, I hear so many stories from my family.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I've met so many people from there now. It's like, okay, at some point I might have to touch down and just touch the ground a little bit.
I would say, there's two main things I miss about Milwaukee. I miss Summerfest, which is a huge music festival that's reasonably priced. When I moved out here and they said, "Oh, we're having a festival," I was like, okay, the tickets are $800. I was like, yeah, that's not the festival I'm used to.
Is Usher gonna be there?
Right? I was like, who else gonna be there? But it's a great summer. It's sort of like jazz in the park, or
which I love.
Jazz on the water in Chicago, and so it's a huge event. And then there's a pizza place called Rocky Rococo's that you have to try. I have a friend of mine who went back to Milwaukee. She still has family there. I was like, can you please bring me a pizza back? I'm gonna see if she'll bring the pizza on the plane.
That's kind of how I feel about Jersey. Anytime I go back east, I tell my family, if you don't stop by Wawa and get me something, I think I have like 5 Wawa coffee cups. I need my Scrapple.
Listen.
I need all those things, and it probably is more so from the Midwest than the East Coast. But it makes me really happy to see the melting pot to which Vegas is becoming, because I feel like I didn't really see that before growing up in California.
Oh, for sure.
You come here, you meet other Californians, but it makes me excited to know that you are a writer for Las Vegas. I mean, the
really
fabulous Las Vegas tattoo on the back,
seriously,
bro, that's commitment.
I mean, and I have like a top 10 of I have like a top 100 of what I love about Vegas. I do love this city, and I'm so invested in it. I've been here for 10 years. I do community service here. I volunteer. I didn't just move into the city to run. I was already living in the city. And so it's important to me that our community prospers and it's safe, and we have an opportunity to really grow together.
I love that. So early voting started May 25th, but the June primary election is June 11th. So if you're trying to figure out who you need to vote for, we got another candidate right here. You can go to her website. You can also go to www.vote411.org/Nevada. If you have any questions, if you want to go ahead and register, it's really easy to do that there too. And of course, you can get information on all of the candidates, as well as some of my new friends that I've brought here on the podcast. So you can get to know some of these women and some of these men, so you know exactly who you're voting for, and these names don't seem alien to you when you get to the ballot. And of course, the general election is November 5th. So tell everybody where they can get information, where they can follow you, and what you have coming up before the primary.
Sure. So I love that you mentioned Vote 411. I actually have a link to that on my website. So if people go to my website, they can learn more about me, more about why I'm running, all the endorsements that I've received, folks in the community who are supporting me. But then also I have a ton of links just for information. I love that. So if you need to register to vote, if you need to find out where your voting poll station is, if you need to request an absentee ballot, if you need to make sure you live in the city of Las Vegas, all of those resources are on my website. Coming up now, we're in the home stretch, which is amazing, but I am still knocking doors. I literally walked holes in the bottom of my Crocs because I have personally knocked on 6,000 doors in our community.
Not the bottom of Crocs.
I didn't think it was possible, okay? You see what Crocs are made of?
Yes.
I thought they were indestructible. And you know what? I put a patch on the bottom and I kept on stepping.
Yeah.
Because I have voters to talk to engage, to inform, and to really work with. So I'm still canvassing. I'm doing campaigning at the polls. I have a Mobilize account. If people go to my website, which is canadyforcourt.com, they can sign up to help me. That would be amazing. But I really want people to know that I am intending to create a court that really belongs to the community. I want the community to have a say in how that court is run. I want to create a community advisory council, and I want to implement research-based decisions and best practices in court because it is cost efficient and it's effective for our community.
Amen to that. Thank you so much for just coming by and blessing us with your message. And I'm really excited for you this election season. I'm really excited this election season because I feel like there's so much more diversity this year than we've seen in a long time.
I agree. And we have the opportunity as a community to put in experience over wealth and legacy, and we have an opportunity to make history, not just in my race, but in several races, CCSD trustee races, mayoral race. We have the opportunity to really change the face and the focus of our city, and I'm excited about that.
So am I. Thank you for coming by today.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Yes.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys for listening. Of course, you guys can email me at summerhourmedia. That's SUMMEROUR media@gmail.com. And don't forget to listen to the podcast. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. And if you guys have any questions, you can email me. And I don't know, I'm just really excited about this election season, and I really wanted to spotlight all the individuals I can before the primary. So if you guys have any questions, you can look down in the comments below. I'll provide all of Ray's information for you.
Yay.
And until next time, guys, see you later.